wanted to talk about the election. Here's a topic that Joe brought up. So, what are your thoughts about the election? I know Biden just became the president of the United States. What are you guys? What are your reactions to it? What do you guys think? Your thoughts about Trump. I don't know if you guys are Republicans or Democrats, but just your reaction to Biden became president, and what way do you think that this country's headed, and of all these things that's floating around, especially the elections, especially people, and especially the things that we deal in America, all these racist people and everything's going on regarding the election. So, Joe, since it was your topic, so I want to start off with you. What's your reaction to the election and Biden becoming president?
Biden becoming president. I mean, it's not decided yet. We gotta wait till January, but I'm pretty sure he's gonna be president. Well, I just hope that his policies and then everything that he's talking about, actually goes through. I hope that he keeps the promises that he's gonna make to kind of benefit our country and stuff like that. Because I kind of did some research on both of the candidates and stuff like that, and their track record and all of that. I mean, for me, to be honest, I didn't agree with a lot of Biden's his policies and stuff like that. I mean, he's gonna be the president, so I might as well be on track with it and kind of
What's the biggest policy they don't like about Biden? What's the biggest thing that you don't like about it?
Well, the taxes. I mean, I've seen his tax plan, and then taxing the wealthy and stuff like that. It kind of demeans us from even trying to climb up that ladder of success. Because I know they're 40,000. If you make over, I guess 40,000 or something like that, you get taxed a lot. So that kind of stops a lot of people from trying to start a business, especially if you're trying to make those quotas to try and try to get your business to jumpstart. I mean, I don't know, we gotta see where it actually is, because right now it's just everything is just said. You know what I mean? It's not in writing, or it's not actual it's not passed yet, so none of these tax laws are passed yet, so we got to see what it is. But I did some research, and then there's I guess if you're making for the big businesses and stuff like that, they were taxing them. They're going to tax them 60% of what they make. So if you're making $1 million a year, 60%, that's a lot. That's a lot of money. I don't know how businesses will be able to strive, where they're at, if they're getting taxed in that state that much. You know what I mean? So, the tax plan, I don't know if they're going to revise that. Hopefully they do. I think we need a lot of innovation in this country. We need, a lot of free thinkers out here. And I feel like those tax numbers are going to, are going to take a toll on people that's trying to start up businesses as well. I think another one of his I think it's the Green New Deal or something like that. He said he wasn't with that plan, and then he said he was with that plan. So I don't know at this point, but he is going to be president. So hopefully some good come out of it. I'm hoping for the best. I'm not saying that he's going to be a terrible president, but I just hope that he does take charge and actually help the country out.
For sure. How about you, Monica? What were your thoughts when Biden became president and Trump's no longer here no more?
All right. So, all right. Between Trump and Biden, what they're asking America to do is to pick their poison. That's what they're asking America to do. Please pick your poison and make sure that you pick whichever one you really, really want, because at the end of the day, they don't go good for any of us. At the end of the day. in 1981, Biden was against abortion, whether it was for rape or incest or whatever. So, and a whole lot of other things that I'm not going to mention, but I'm going to mention that first and foremost, because that's the most important one to mention. So he's not trustworthy. A lot of the times, we as a society only see media. That media controls everything we see. Do I like Trump? Absolutely not. Why would I? Why? No, never. One, because he's vocal about who he is, right? So basically, you're asking me to pick between somebody who is vocally racist and somebody who is non-vocally racist. And so really, it's really hard for me to tell people to do certain things because one, society, even our society at most, are not interested in really doing the research on Congress. So Congress, it has nothing to do with presidency. Whether you're the president or not, you don't actually roll over the propositions or policies that get passed. Congress does. And that's very important for people to know. But they don't teach you this in high school. Why they don't teach you this in high school? Because most of us are from, low middle class to low income. And hello, Bay Area, if you make in 2010, if you made under 100K, you were considered low income. Yeah. That's a Bay Area for you, okay? And that's the reality of it. And it's a very sad reality because now it's 10 years later, it's 2020. So how high do you think that 100K has gone higher? It's gone. It definitely hasn't gone any lower. So it's very, very, it's a very serious thing, but it's also we have to let people understand that it's a capitalistic country. Like everything is business. Everything is, bringing in money, taking out money. So if you're, going to move to America to build a business, understand that you don't have healthcare to back you up. Okay. You don't have a lot of the essential things that can support you when you're out here. I think that the American dream is a dream. It's a dream, but it's also a harsh reality. So you can make it, but you just don't know. It's numbers, it's probability, it's everything, it's statistics, and so that's what I think about it. They just want us to pick our poison. So, it's up to y'all, A or B. Don't know what you picked, but they're both bad.
Did you vote? Did you vote, Monica?
I will have to keep that in disclosure. Definitely not gonna let y'all know that's my own. Thank you.
No. I didn't. No, I didn't say which you picked. I said, did you vote this year?
I will keep that in disclosure. Thank you.
Oh, okay. It's all good. It's all good. All right, you Fetty? What's your thoughts, reaction?
I find it very important to educate yourself about what's going on in the country and especially your state, just because it has a huge impact on your life. But I have no comment for this year's election. No comment.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Keep it neutral. Keep it neutral. Smart woman. All right. No, yes, I think it'd be interesting to see. For me, I mean, I don't really pay attention to politics that much. I kind of just let politics let it be and just kind of focus on what I gotta do for myself. But one thing I did listen to, I do listen to a lot of podcasts, and they talk about politics. And one thing they say about Biden is, I think his policies of things, the laws he tries to pass is more, more moving into being a socialism, where with the government is going to be more control of businesses and regulations, and kind of limit economic growth for a lot of people. So that's one thing I'm gonna pay attention to a little bit more for myself, just regarding Biden. And for me, I just trying to live a dream and make a life in America. I don't want to. It would be hard. I don't want to be under a government that tries to kind of like limit my growth.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing that I focus on. As long as it's a free capitalism world economy where people are free to come here to this country and they can create their own wealth and take care of their own family. I'm all about that. But we'll see. We'll see where these next 4 years go. And yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on that.
Yeah, can
Anybody any last thoughts?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, like you said about like like what Biden brought up, and what Monica is saying about picking your poison. We do, we do have to pick our poison every election. We don't always have the best candidate, running for president and stuff. To me, I'm doing my own research and stuff like that on the candidates, and really going back on their track record, and seeing what what they've actually done in the past. A lot of people call Trump out on his on being racist and being outspoken about being racist and stuff like that. I kind of take a different side on that, because before the election, before he was even elected in 2016, he was nobody was talking about him being a racist. There was nothing about him being a racist or anything, and then when he ran for president, all of a sudden he's racist. All of a sudden he's xenophobic, homophobic, or whatever phobia that he has with the the community. And I feel like the media is kind of like turning stuff to their own ideas, whereas in somebody who's actually was being racist versus someone who just out of nowhere being called a racist and stuff like that. I don't know. I guess like picking our poison is kind of like it's kind of like a different way of seeing it. I feel like going off of the policies and seeing what they actually done for the country, you kind of have to look at that versus what the person says. I mean, Trump doesn't have the best way of saying things. He doesn't say things the right way. He's not politically correct about a lot of things, but I'd rather have somebody who's straightforward with the country, and is telling you straightforward what is going on and stuff like that, versus somebody who's constantly changing what they gotta say and what they were thinking. You know what I mean? And then watching this election, months and stuff like that, a lot of stuff about Joe Biden came up. Even Kamala Harris herself said some stuff about him. You know what I mean? When in the presidential debate before, in the I think it's the Democratic their Democratic debate, and a lot of stuff about Joe Biden came up as being racist, actually being racist, versus Trump, being getting awards from Black communities, and and being in rap songs. Like everybody wanted to be like Trump. You know what I mean? That was like the American dream, was to be successful as he is. To come up from to America from a different country and actually making something of yourself out here. It's I don't know. I guess the media kind of paints people the way that they want to paint them versus how they really are. But it's just something that we should take a look into. I don't know. You can do your own your own study on it and stuff like that. Do your own research on the person. But All I know is we had the lowest unemployment rate, for everyone. This past 4 years, economy's been booming. We're exporting now instead of importing everything. We're actually opening up factories, warehouses. We're actually, you know, are leading in the economy right now. I mean, we've kind of declined because of this pandemic, but we were really growing. And I feel like, that's a big step for the next president to, there's some big shoes to fill for the next president to come in, is actually keeping up with the economy and actually and actually stepping in to do that, and also, what Will said about being a socialist country. There's nowhere in the world where socialism even works. Nowhere in the world. I mean, we have Venezuela, we have Cuba, who's, are socialist countries, and it's like, it's crazy when people actually go out there. It's like the government controls everything. People are not getting enough food. They're not making enough money. There's no jobs. I mean, you get free healthcare. You live there, you get free housing and all of that, but where's the economy coming from? Where's all of that coming from? Where's all that money coming from to pay for all of that? Free healthcare, free schooling. Somebody's got to pay for it. And if they can't reach into, these big businesses and taxing them all these money, who else are they going to reach to other than, all of us, the middle class, the lower class, you know what I mean? So, it's something that we got to look into, if you're really like into economy and stuff like that, and really look into our future pretty much in the US. Because if we're just picking our poison, we're just picking blindly, as really.
Hey, Monica, do you want to respond to that? Did you want something to say?
I do. Oh, I thought I had my mute on. Never mind. Okay, so I understand that. But I also understand that there are a lot of Hispanics that are locked up with children not being with their parents, even babies right now.
I'm talking about like the border?
I think that, the economy is where it's at, but what about the folks that were here? It's bad for us to just disregard them. Like, it's bad for us to just feel like they should be caged up, locked up, and then sent away. Even these kids that are not even with their parents, like, to me, that's not good. I get it. It's about us. But I don't feel like parents should be taken away from their own parents, locked in cages, and transported somewhere else. I think that they need to be with their parents. There should have been other steps taken in order for these kids, them to be transported out back to Mexico. Right, like, nicely, like, not like we're just gonna just throw people in cages, transport them out any other way that they can. For me, I'm not gonna sit here and say that I'm not a humanitarian, but I am, in a sense, because I don't think that's right. I'm not Hispanic, but I don't feel like this population of people that's been here working jobs that nobody else wants to work should be treated that way, whether they came to this country illegal or not. Because the truth is, the only people that are native to this country are Native American. And I don't know where they are, because honestly, their population decreased to our population. Actually, they're a little higher. It's about 4%. So we have to take that into consideration. And I think it's heartbreaking. I don't know. I think that there should have been other precautions taken to make sure that these folks are transported correctly, not incorrectly. I think that people have an opinion about how this country should be ran. There's a lot of poverty in this country, but here's the thing. I mean, a lot of people that are in poverty in this country are still eating. Like, they're still eating. But I am against that. And here's the thing about the Republican Party and Democratic Party is when you're Republican, they sell you on a dream. They sell you on a dream that everybody who works hard on a business or whatnot will be a part of this 1%. But when you're a Democratic Party, they only vouch for the 10%. Why? Because a lot of people in the Democratic Party are they are lured in by corporations, large corporations. Like, I'm talking about Cisco, I'm talking about Foster Farms, right? To do the things that they want to be passed. All right. And so this is why I'm saying that when they vote for presidency, it really isn't about the presidency, it's about Congress. Nobody cares, so they know that's out the door. It's really about picking towards the 1% and the 10%. And so I get why most people will veer towards the 10%, but the 10% party, which is the Democratic Party, is killing you as much as the 1%. Why? Because these corporations are the chicken that you eat at home. It's the fast food that you got something to eat at. It's killing you slowly, but it's not killing you right away. It's just creating more chronic disease. And so that's my 1%. I mean, that's my percentage into this conversation. It's very small, but that's what I will tell you of what I know.
Yeah, just to go off of what Monica said about you know, all the Hispanics are, you know, being locked up. I understand. I've seen the news and stuff like that about, you know, being locked in cages and stuff like that. I know it's not humanitarian. I don't agree with that either. You know, I don't agree with kids coming over the border, you know, and having to be put in cages because they're not here legally, you know. And then it's heartbreaking to see that. You know, I don't ever want to see anybody's family go through that. You know what I mean? And it's really sad. But you also have to understand that a lot of these people are coming in with coyotes. They're coming in with people who are smuggling drugs and stuff at some time. They're not even with their family. And there's a reason why they separate the kids from who they came with, is because that's not their parents. Most of the time, it's not their parents that's coming in with them. You know, and then if you were to keep them in the same cage as them, you know what I mean? Like, is that keeping them safe? Is it any safer than you know, putting them on their own, or even being out there with their family? You know, it's a big mess, you know, at our borders, and I understand where you're coming from with that. You know, I wish they had a different way of doing things, but you know, just maybe not having them cross over at all. But it's hard to tell a different country how to run their country. You know what I mean? And we can't take in so many people like that, because you know, if our country gets overrun by, you know, illegals or people who are not here legally, you know what I mean? Like, is America really America anymore? You know what I mean? Like, we can't just pour in people and then just have them. I mean, we could make them all. Sorry, we can make them all citizens. You know what I mean? Sorry, that's my ringtone. Sorry, that's my ringtone. Yeah, I gotta. Yeah, but yeah, we can make them all legal. We can make them all legal citizens. But is our country at a state to provide for that many people? You know what I mean? Are we at a state to provide, you know, shelter for a whole other country who wants to come over? You know what I mean? I know a lot of people from Venezuela, a lot of people from Cuba want to come over. You know, it's because, you know, the socialist country isn't working. That's why Florida in this election, you know, went to Trump, is because, you know, they don't want to see this country turn into a socialist country. You know, and and people got to see that, we can't just let everybody in, you know what I mean? Because we won't be able to provide for everybody. We can't even provide for the people that's here already. It's like, how are we going to provide for those millions of people who's coming over? And for like the people who are already here, who are already working on, you know, on getting their citizenship, I feel like, I agree with you. I feel like they should have a path to citizenship. If they're following the law and they're obeying the law and they're living, you know, they're actually, living like Americans. You know what I mean? They're obeying the laws and stuff like that, following the rules. I feel like they should be granted, they should be granted, a path to citizenship, you know, and on that too, there's a lot of people who are waiting to be, to get here. There's people in the lines and the lists of the citizenship of, even trying to get their green card, and they're not allowed to come out here yet because, they haven't been approved yet. Is it really fair for them to wait years, to be able to get here? My parents waited years before they got their green card to be able to bring us out here, to the States and be able to come, to the States and better their lives too. My mom's is an immigrant as well. My dad was an immigrant as well. He passed away. He's here in America. He's buried here in America. He's American, he's American by heart, and he's seen the dream, of coming to the United States and actually making a living, and also you was talking about the parties too. I agree with you. The both of the political parties, they're political. You know what I mean? They're gonna say sweet things. They're gonna whisper sweet, nonsense into your ear to get you on their side. You know what I mean? But it's up to you to, to see what they offer. Like, I mean, it's not always gonna be a perfect candidate. There's never been a perfect candidate. People thought, Biden's gonna be a perfect candidate. People think, Obama was gonna be a perfect candidate. People thought, Bush was gonna be a perfect candidate. Everybody thought, everybody's going to be a perfect candidate, but it's what they do in office reflects what we should vote on. You know what I mean? And I felt like, that's where I went with, with Trump and all of that. It's because of what he's done for the country so far, and the HBU, the HBUs, the historic Black colleges. He set a 10-year plan to where they're constantly getting funded, yearly. So that's one thing I look at, and I'm like, the social media is telling me, he's racist and all of that. But I see his acts and I see the things he's done for the communities, for the Black communities, even sitting down with, recent celebrities. I don't know if you've seen the news. He sat down with Ice Cube and Lil Wayne, trying to change the communities for the better, and then trying to stop this violence with the police and stuff like that, and also changing the economy for the suburban areas of the United States. I feel like there's a lot of work to be done, but a candidate who actually shows and keeps their promise is a candidate that I would want in the office, no matter what the mainstream media says about them. You know what I mean? You can do your own research and find out, oh, he's never done any of these things. He's never said any of these things, and he's not pretty with words. And that's one thing I like about Trump. He's not pretty with words. You know what I mean? He's not. Monica, Monica, he's not pretty with words, but he says it like it is.
Monica wants to say something right now.
He says it how it is. You know what I mean? I mean, if you look at all these other countries who, we all thought we was gonna go to war with, you know what I mean? They all tucked their tail and ran. You know what I mean? Trump's actually made, good trade deals and actually made, peace in the Middle East, and that's one thing we gotta look at when we look at candidates. I know Biden's gonna be president, but let's just hope that what he brings to the table and what he brings, for America, pretty much, we're Americans, in this country, and what he brings to us Americans hopefully benefits us more than, than them. So I just hope that everything is all good and well. Yeah, that's my take on that.
Joe came hard.
No.
Joe-
No. I mean, Monica. I mean, if you want, I can send you some links and stuff like that of stuff where I found some of these, topics and stuff like that. Maybe you can do your own research.
Yeah, I can.
Trying to
I can
push
put you
my
guys in a
opinion
separate
on you
room.
or nothing. I'm just, it's just me.
For sure. All right, sounds good. Let's.
Well, I mean, everybody is granted, or everybody has their own opinion about these things. So I really can't say much about that. I do think that, I mean, I know what you're saying, because I know Ice Cube, I know Lil Wayne, I know 50 Cent, I know all of them have backed him up, right? But my question to you is this: how many, out of all these three, how many businesses do you think they have? Lots. Why wouldn't they
Multiple.
want him? Right, that's what I'm saying. All of them.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they want him to be a part of a presidency? Because they need to secure their money. And I get it. Everybody, everybody has the right to individually secure their money back. Everybody.
Mhm.
It would be wrong for me to say that everybody doesn't. But I will say this, like you said, politicians are sweet words, right?
I
They
mean,
are
Trump's
business
really not a
people.
politician.
Trump is a
businessman.
business person. He's a businessman, which tells me one thing and one thing only. He knows how to run a business. He knows how to gain people's loyalty. And right now, he's gained 3 men who are prominent Black men in the community, in the African American community, to support him. Why? Because he needs those votes. Did he get it? No. Why? Because people understand that. They see that. And I'm glad that they see that. And that's all I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, everybody has their own opinion. I mean, like Ice Cube and them didn't really back him. It's just because he's president right now is the reason why they talked to him, and the reason why they went to him with their plan. And I'm pretty sure they'll try to go to Biden with their plan. Hopefully Biden accepts it, and actually, work on building the Black community, which, it's a big problem right now. If you see Chicago and New York and, all these big states, even California too is kind of bad as well, down the LA side. Not so much up here. I mean, we still have crime and stuff like that, but it's not as crazy. But yeah, I understand where they're going with that. But, elections, sometimes can be swayed a different way because of the influence that they do have, But yeah, I mean, I stand where I stand, you know what I mean? And I respect your opinion as well and where you stand as well, Overall, we just got to see for the best, see what America's got to bring and what, each candidate's got to bring, Hopefully they keep their promises. Hopefully some of their promises that say they're going to keep ain't kept, because there's some terrible promises. But overall, we just got to see. We just got to ride that. We just got to ride that wave.
Speaking of riding that wave, let's ride that wave to the next topic. Let's go.